there is so much different. And what's it like? 'Cause I know, like, your entrance for Lucha this first show, you come through the crowd, you're right on the perch. How cool is it to come into that crowd, that wild and crazy crowd?
How what?
How cool is that to come to that wild and crazy environment crowd there?
Really appreciated from us. It definitely makes it that much easier and that much more fun. And I think that chemistry between us performers and the crowd definitely helps tell the stories to people watching at home.
All right. Now, before I have other questions about you directly, if you were to describe this show to other people, I have asked this to other people from Lucha, how would you describe the show to people that aren't watching it yet? Because I find it hard to explain to people that aren't watching it.
It's hard to put in words, but very simple. It's not. If you grew up watching WWE, it's everything WWE's not, so that alone should be enough to spark your curiosity to at least go and check it out. And I'm pretty sure and guarantee that once you check it out, you'll be hooked, because the stories are very intriguing. And I mean, you know, most of the people that I come across with that, you know, that were wrestling fans, I think that you'll become a wrestling fan again, all over again.
I think the word I always hear a lot is telenovela, and I've never been a big telenovela fan, but watching it on TV is just like that, where it's like a telenovela storyline. Is that kind of the feeling you guys get on that end, doing those backstage segments and everything else?
I love that fact, because I have always been story obsessed when it comes to wrestling. And the fact that we can focus on that so much on Lucha Underground is definitely something that I really enjoy personally. And it's what makes people interested and want to watch and get excited and all of that. So that's pretty much where that's what I think is one of the strong suits of Lucha Underground.
All right, well, let's talk about you now. First things first, intergender wrestling is a kind of a controversial conversation in the States. You're a big central part of that in this country now. How did it feel to do intergender wrestling in Lucha?
Intergender, I think it's very important to keep in mind. You have to, like, intergender wrestling can work if done correctly. Like I know that Lucha Underground is like it's like a movie. You know, women wrestle men, and like in movies, women fight men, and it's like as if they were equally strong, and yada yada, and all that. But I think that intergender wrestling is a very delicate type of performance. So sometimes I see some intergender wrestling, and it personally, since I'm so story based, and you know, obsessed with trying to make it look as real as possible, some kind of get carried away with it. But I'm very, very proud and happy to be a part of something that supports intergender wrestling so much, because I didn't grow up, but I started wrestling guys, and it was pretty much, it consisted most of my training and career starting up and all of that, and I actually didn't start wrestling women consistently until I went to WWE. And it's a delicate thing, but it could be so inspiring if done right. And I'm very happy to be able to work on that and you know, support it and be part of it.
It's funny, I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm a big Avengers fan. And almost you would be in comparison to like Black Widow in the Avengers, that no one looks twice at Black Widow fighting men. It's not looked weird. Almost like here in Lucha with you. I don't look at it as weird. It's you're fighting men. I don't see that as a big deal. I don't see what's the big deal. Like the triple threat last week on television, that was amazing. It's like it's just a wrestling match, in my personal opinion. It's just like to get the opinion for people that do the matches.
Well, it's because with Lucha Underground, it's the how can I say, the structure is more movie type based. So that's what makes it not that big of a deal when you're looking at it. When it came to, like WWE, which is what most people would be watching or would watch or are watching or whatever, it's more like they're trying to make, it look like the people are really fighting out there. And that's the goal always, because that's what pro wrestling is. But we have transcended that. In Lucha Underground, we're transcending that. We are using the theatrical movie style approach to it, and that's what makes it okay. I don't care what I'm watching. I just care what's going on, and that's what makes them be able to enjoy what they're watching.
That's a good point.
And really get really into it, and
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you 100%. That makes perfect sense. Now, in the whole line of this thing, you became trio champion last season with Son of Havoc and Angelico, if I'm saying that correctly. I always say his name wrong. Did you expect to get the reaction you did that night when you guys won the title? Because that was amazing to watch on television.
The trios match?
Yeah.
No, I did not expect that reaction at all. But it was definitely, it felt good, especially because I literally did break my ankle, and that was like the darkest moment in my career. But to be able, but to have that type of support is that really meant a lot for me for that moment, and it just made it that much more special than it already was.
Yeah, the trio, you guys though did become fan favorites. It almost felt like that night with that tournament and you guys winning those belts became like one of the biggest fan favorites on television. How did that feel? Almost to be like now everyone loves us. It's like it's this. What we're looking for here. You guys were almost like fighting like a dysfunctional family at one point, but as characters. But the fans loved you no matter what. Had to be amazing to be fan favorites at that point. Yeah, and especially something, because the thing is that it happened very organically. Like,
that wasn't even the direction we were supposed to go to, but it all happened very organically, and, there's nothing more that can touch people's strings, emotional strings, than things that just happen naturally, and I think that helps people connect with us. And I also think that just, the whole chemistry between us, like, also, I think people were able to relate to, because, in team aspects, like whether it be friends or family members or things like that, like we all always bicker and, all the time have our differences, yada, yada, but then at the end somehow manage to pull through and pull it together and, and move mountains. So I think that story really resonated to viewers and was really able to help them connect with us as characters.
Now, you mentioned the injury, and I have it in my notes, too. It had to be a scary moment because not only are you injured, but you're going to win these titles. You're going to be looked at to defend these titles for how long you guys filmed, especially knowing that these shows are in the bank. It had to be rough for you knowing, oh, my God, I have to wrestle. How I'm going to find a way to get to the ring and do stuff with this injury.
Yeah, it was very devastating for me. I thought it was. I mean, when it happened, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to accept it. I didn't because I was already dealing with a shoulder injury, and then let alone if I am incapacitated with my legs too, that just means I'm that much more useless. So that moment was very, very disappointing, very crushing. But I didn't see any other option other than to just do what I had to do and work it and get through it. But unfortunately, as a result of that, I made the healing time of the ankle that much longer, a lot longer, and pretty much shredded my already injured shoulder even more. Yeah, I was in pretty bad shape. But I don't know. I didn't really see any other option to just do what I had to do, suck it up, and just push through and until the end.
Are you 100% now? How is it feeling now? Because I know that was a scary time.
I'm 100% now. I started off in season 2 pretty great shape. I was actually able to rehab my shoulder. I was doing great. And then halfway into the second season, I kind of tweaked my shoulder again. And of course, off camera right before going out to perform. But it's not to the point where I'm incapable of doing things. It's just something that has been a problem for me for quite some time now, and I am getting it fixed now. So
okay, that's good.
Good to know. I will know pretty soon what exactly it is, but I'm going to make sure I heal that 100%, so I can come back and not have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, that's a good move. I mean, in a way, it's almost, I know it sounds bad to say this, but wrestling with an injured shoulder is way different than having a bum wheel. So it had to be, it's easier to almost, especially being in a tag team a lot, to wrestle with an injured shoulder than a leg. So am I correct about that?
It's way worse to have an injury in a lower extremity than an upper. I mean, I had my shoulder injured throughout all 2014 as well, and I had my Shine run and all that. But it's just when you just keep re-injuring it over and over, it's kind of like, okay, how long will my shoulder hold up?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to take care of it now.
All right. Now we mentioned season 2, and it's pretty funny because me and my wife, we sat down and did a podcast about women in wrestling, and we were talking about how on season 1, it was all about like sexy star going into that first season. Now it's all about you.
Yeah.
You are, to a lot of people's opinion, it's not just me, the top woman in lucha outside maybe Katrina. And one of the biggest talking points in the first 2 weeks, it must be surreal to have that kind of attention placed on you, just you, knowing how. I couldn't be happier. I mean, I've worked my entire life and sacrificed my entire life, and I live, breathe, eat this 24/7, like kind of like how McGregor from UFC. Yes.
How he said that it's about how obsessed you are. Honestly, down to technicality, it's about how obsessed. And I've been obsessed for quite some time, and given my all in hopes that I would get that position, and earn it. And I feel like there's no other words to describe that feeling of, okay, I'm finally getting what I've worked my ass off for. And I put in positions like that. That's what I strive for. So it makes me super happy, and it makes me feel like, okay, finally all this hard work pays off, like it does pay off.
Yeah, I have to agree. You have come a long way. You mentioned Shine. A lot of people didn't know you from Shine. Talk about your Shine days, because I know a lot of people don't really talk about that anymore. Talk about that with me a little bit. I'm not a big fan. I don't really know Shine that well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been pretty not anxious, but I've been pretty like I want to go back to Shine already, but unfortunately, since I got well from my injuries, I haven't been able to assist the 2 Shine events because of conflicting schedules with Lucha Underground taping, and it looks like it may happen a little bit more as well to the next couple months, but I'm definitely looking forward to come back.